Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Great Awakening Generator. I am your host, Rose. And today I have with me Aaron Ellis. Aaron is a coach and hypnotherapist. Hello, Aaron.
Hello, Rose. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. And how are you?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, so good to have you on the show. Show,
Yeah, thank
sorry. I must correct myself. Show. I keep saying show because I do radio and that sometimes kicks in without me thinking. But so good to have you here on the channel.
Love to be here.
Yes. I'm feeling a lot of blissful calmness from you. And
Thank you.
I just feel like there's such a beautiful silence here. Your energy is amazing. And you're quiet with that too. So, okay, let's carry on. So, Aaron, tell us a little bit about you.
So, Rose, there's many aspects of me, but for this show, we'll say that I'm a coach and I'm a hypnotherapist. So I help people in the coaching aspect of overcoming their negative beliefs, things they may be struggling with mentally to get new perceptions. I also coach people in the martial arts to help them actually align their body and to actually physically help them relax as well as mentally relaxed.
Okay. Okay. So that was very clear. Exactly what you do. So I really like that because we so need um, that ability now to be able to be in a calm space with everything going on around us, right?
Definitely.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the thing was today is that, as we know, Rose, relaxation isn't something that we put a lot of time in. We tend to be go, go, go. We're working, we have a lot of commitments. And then we tend to think that when we go home and we sit on the couch and turn on the TV that we're relaxing. But the truth be known is we're still being stimulated. We're watching the TV, we're often on our phones. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time out from the general reality to actually go with inside ourselves and get a little bit of peace and tranquility.
Mm. So I'm hearing that it's important to be away from the technology at least once a day, and maybe you didn't suggest a time, but for me, I'm thinking about it and thinking, well, at least some space in nature in a day is necessary.
Definitely. I think that there's one thing that people might be aware of, but most of our technology tends to emit positive ions. And when we go to out into nature, to a waterfall or a forest, there tends to be a predominance of negative ions. And those negative ions make us feel good. So you can almost imagine that reconnecting with nature is balancing ourselves and reconnecting those energies.
Yes, absolutely right. I agree with that. So this title, coach and hypnotherapist, I was going to ask that you elaborate and expound that a little bit further for us. But before that, I want to point out that from what I read from your bio, that you've been in the field you're in for like 29 years now, and you've obviously had a journey from what I was reading through various things. I saw martial arts, I saw meditation, I saw clinical hypnotherapist. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure, Rose. So my journey started just as a, young teenage boy, and I didn't actually have a lot of confidence at school, and I was one of those people that sort of just got ignored. I wasn't bullied or anything, but I really wanted to just become a bit more involved with life and have a little bit more confidence. So I started doing some martial arts, was a teacher at the time, doing some taekwondo and had some fun and that was good. And then one day I actually got into a little bit of a scuffle, got my butt kicked and thought, I really would like to learn something a little bit better. So I ended up going on to the road of learning kickboxing.
Okay.
And and while I was studying kickboxing, I was on this other path of while I was wanting to better myself physically, become stronger, etc., I also wanted to invest in my mind. So I always had this background of why are these ancient sages meditating, and meditation for some reason seems to be linked with the martial arts. So I decided to dive into meditation and learn a few different techniques, and over the years the martial arts and the meditation became closer and closer together,
Okay. Wow.
realizing that the meditation is the mind training, and then the physical arts is the physical training.
Yes, absolutely. Makes sense, actually, when I think about it. It does make sense. Martial arts does require the mind, the power of the mind, or the mind to be in a balanced state, doesn't it? Anything I know about it is very
Exactly.
little, but yeah, the little I know about it is, yes, it's about the mind over it all. So you've done some you've been a champion you represented Australia in what, kickboxing?
Yes, back in the day, I call it, when I was a young 21-year-old, I first of all fought for a state title in Queensland, and I was able to get that after 5 fights and having 5 wins. And then on my 7th fight, I won an Australian title. And
Okay.
then two fights later, I fought for another Australian title, and finally fought for the final Australian title in year 2000. And I was actually defeated then. And that's when I decided, well, I might start and go on another path.
Okay. All right. So what a history, what a different history from anybody that I actually speak to, because I haven't spoken to anyone yet that has that much kickboxing or martial arts. You said something earlier about internal martial arts. What does that mean?
I'll quickly define internal by explaining what external is first.
Okay,
So
yes,
most of the times we think of karate, kickboxing, it's all about the person gets better by becoming physically stronger, they train harder, and it's all about outward things, about doing push-ups and actually doing the training.
yes,
But when it comes to internal martial arts, we're not so worried about the muscles of the body, but we're worried about how the structure of the body can align, so that we can develop perfect structure in the body, develop a type of relaxation, which actually exemplifies martial arts ability.
okay, okay. So the internal
So
is about developing that that the mindset. Is that right?
yes, it's also having a deep connection within your body to actually know where you how you're standing, how your form is, how you're connected. So literally when another person touches you or grabs you, you feel this deep connection to the ground, so
Okay.
you don't fall over. And that's how
Yes.
you see some of these Tai Chi masters just apparently gently move someone with little effort.
Yeah, I'm imagining it like, oh, I'm standing there and I can actually feel things changing in my it's almost like I'm reading my body's energy. It's that's the best way I can put it. It's almost like reading the what does the body tell me? It's speaking. What is it saying to me? So,
Exactly.
okay, right. I love this introduction. It's so different. It's exotic. So you told me about what it means in terms of being a coach and hypnotherapist. So how do you do your work?
So I might concentrate just on the hypnotherapy side of things. So
Okay.
people often come to me because they have a mental barrier, a problem or something they can't seem to solve. And that may be the fact that they're suffering from anxiety. It may be that for some reason they can't seem to turn on that camera to do a YouTube clip. Or it might
Yes.
be something as simple as they've got a sporting event coming up and they're lacking in their own ability.
Mm,
So what I do is I have a highly targeted conversation.
right.
And during this conversation, we end up unlocking what the problem is within you and also finding those resources. So I've got a big belief in that we all create our own problems, and it's
Yes.
impossible to have a problem without a solution, because otherwise it wouldn't be a problem. So we may not know what that solution is right now, but if our body created that problem, there's also a solution inside to change that. And the secret is to talk and to actually get the person's mind or their conscious mind offline, so they can dig deeper within to themselves and start to allow these resources that have been hiding to come out.
Yes. So are you finding that a lot of people, there are more people needing this kind of support now?
Definitely. I find that a lot of people, they generally have a general level of stress and anxiety in their lives. And that's just through working and just getting through. And and just of our general mishaps that happen.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
sometimes we have an impact like a pandemic or something, an external force that we can't control. And that becomes the couple of extra drops of that water that makes it overflow.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until it overflowed that did people realize that they were in such a state.
Yeah. This is true. Yes. I guess the question for me is, so I asked how you do your work. What else? So how does one recognize they need this kind of assistance? Like, what makes some of your clients come to you? Because sometimes we constantly go on in our lives without thinking that we need anything, without, we just feel like as long as I've got the energy, as long as I've got the drive, I'm just going to keep going. And no matter what's coming at me, no matter what's happening, we're just in constant survival mode. Because, well, we designed like that, or not. No, sorry, I'll change it. We're not designed like that. We've programmed like that to say, well, hey, no matter what's coming at you, stand up, deal with it, put that fire out, and move forward. That's it. So, how does one recognize that this is the kind of support we need? Maybe I'm asking that question wrong, but you tell me what you think of what I'm asking.
Well, it generally comes to what do people believe they can and can't do.
Okay.
And if they want to do something and are being prevented to do that. So if somebody is scared of spiders, but they don't care about that and they're never going to meet a spider, they're not going to worry about solving that problem.
Yeah.
Where if somebody is having something that's starting to impact their life, it may be starting to getting overwhelmed with things and they're thinking too much, which is affecting their sleep. These are these small signs where we need to see within ourselves, you know, how do I feel now to how I felt, say, a year ago? And if there seems to be a significant change, that's where we can start to look and think, let's not wait before we get to that point where the cup overflows, but let's start to do something now. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, as we know, as humans, we tend to wait until the rope breaks before we
That's
get
right.
help.
Yes. Yes. We sorry, you want to carry on saying something?
No, that's fine.
Yes. Okay. It's like we hear the time when you do, just because it's never too late. You always hear it's never too late, but actually sometimes it can get too late because you could have all sorts of things happening with the body or with life, and then these things happening, these circumstances occurring, sort of has to be drastic to grab your attention. So, because quite
Yeah,
often people just carry on, don't they?
definitely.
Yeah.
And you are right that we try to get everything correct and we try to get everything perfect in our lives when sometimes we just need to just slow down. And
Mm,
that's where the perfection comes because we're trying so much. We have so much on our plate that we just need to bring everything back and slow down again. But
yes.
as I was saying before, that often when people come to me, it's also unfortunately when they've tried other things and it's failed, where they may be trying to relax and they've gone, I've watched 1,000 YouTube videos, I've watched this, I've listened to meditation, but just something's not working. And this is where I come in to help and actually unlock those mental barriers within ourselves.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
because as you know, we start to affirm our beliefs every day. And a simple thing can be not that I am feeling anxious, but I have anxiety. And the more that we say that I have anxiety, the more that we create the picture of our life that I'm anxious, I have anxiety, whereby reframing things and saying that anxiety is actually a normal emotion. And we feel it occasionally to get excited when something's not quite, it could be a little bit new, but if it's something to work with and to give us a little bit of an antenna of what's going on.
Yes. Yes. I think it's, and I'm hearing this more and more. We need to give equal value to things. Like, we seem to be saying, oh, anxiety is a bad thing and happiness is a good thing. But all things are relative, I think, because in order to know what happiness is, how will you know you're happy unless you felt anxious? And you can tell the difference between that feeling and that feeling, because everything is here to teach us and to help us grow. So it's important to say, to be easy about feeling anxious, and say, okay, so I'm feeling anxious. Okay, it says that I'm actually wanting to reach for something that is a good feeling, not a feeling that is not a
Yes.
bad, is a bad feeling. So yeah, I think humans have to be easier with themselves. They have to take the time to listen to themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, it's important to be easy. Self-love is a big theme at the moment, and this is part of self-love. What do you think?
Yes, definitely. And as you said before, there is always a solution, but the longer we wait, the harder it is to get to that solution.
Yes,
Because the longer that we've been in a situation, the more we believe it's real. And
yes,
and when it becomes so real that you are anxious and it doesn't matter what somebody else tells you, your reality is you're anxious.
yes.
So
Sure.
that's where I liked what you said before, where we must experience some anxiety or experience happiness. And just like the yin yang symbol, we must have black and we must have white.
Exactly.
And that comes back to the fact that if we have a problem, we have a solution.
Yes. So a light bulb went on in my head earlier when you said, if we create a problem in our lives, we must have a solution. Because if it's in my life, for example, that means I've created the problem. It's coming from me. And so there must be a solution coming from me. It's a big lesson for me, that one. It's a big statement you made earlier, and my light bulb went on, because I sometimes think, I, I have a thing of, I think, oh, this is wrong and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what to do with this thing. And perhaps I don't know what to do with this thing is a programmed thought. It's not that I don't necessarily know what to do with it. And so,
Exactly.
yeah, in my world at the moment, I'm going through a specific aspect where I'm having to find solutions. And that is my journey and my learning. So I really appreciate you saying that, because I've never thought about it like that before. I keep waiting for a solution, but yet the solution is within me.
Definitely.
It's everything's within us, like whether we like it or not. It's there. We've got everything within us. So,
Definitely. And it's just finding the ways to pull it out. So
yes,
a way that you can pull out your own solution is, wouldn't it be interesting if one of your friends came to you with the same problem that you have, you'd be able to rattle off a lot of solutions for them and help them out.
yeah, absolutely,
So we're
absolutely,
starting to reframe that you know the solutions,
yeah.
but you're just holding yourself back from allowing yourself to know them.
Yeah, and very important to understand why the holding back. Because I think once you do the
Definitely.
why, once you understand the why, you deal with the solution, and then you take the steps forward, right? Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
And the thing is, when we're learning these unconscious blocks that happen, it's because they're unconscious and they happen to protect us. So it may have been when you're at school and you did a talk and some of the other kids laughed at you. And at the time then you said, well, I'm just not going to get up and talk again because that's going to prevent people from laughing at me. But it's
yes,
been so long ago that when it was implanted, for some reason you just had this feeling that I'm not going to do that. But then if we could actually go all the way back to that time to realize what kids are, and kids laugh and joke, and they probably weren't actually even laughing at you at the time. They were just laughing, but you took
exactly.
it personally.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden we have this reframe and these light bulb moments go off in the person to realize, wow, I didn't realize that. I didn't think about it like that.
yeah, yeah. And it also makes sense to think about right now, right here. Well, why is that thing that happened 25 years ago defining my right now and right here? Because that was then. And for some reason, we want to have not, yeah, we seem to carry, and for some people, they do want to have the hang-ups of 25 years ago.
Yeah,
Because if we can release that from ourselves, realize, hey, you know what? That happened 25 years ago, just because, and it's a lot of, I think a lot of this Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about, where I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's talking about how we are programmed, and we don't live the day for the day. We live it based on the past because of the programming of the past. He uses that getting up in the morning, cleaning our teeth, having our breakfast, all of that. We do that every day. And when you do that every day, it's like the same thing about the mind. If you have an experience, and you're in fight or flight mode, you sort of hold the memory of it, and then you define your life based on that anytime you see anything that
Definitely.
looks close to it. So,
Yes.
yeah, we have to live in the now.
Yeah, as Dr. Joe says, that emotions tend to last for 90 seconds, and they're just a chemical reaction. But
Yes,
then we decide that often we want to hold a mood for some reason. We want to hold that emotion, and that emotion then becomes a mood. And then the
yes,
moods extend, and then the moods over time become our personality.
yes,
So what we need to learn to do is to recognize within ourselves that these emotions are fleeting and that we're actually allowed to let them go. But
yes.
often holding on to them, we create this little block, this little barrier inside of our mind that just holds us back for years, and
That's right.
unfortunately without us even knowing it.
That's right. It's very humans make things very complicated, right? I feel. And I'm one of them because I'm a human being. We're not saying it, we're above this just because I say it in a generic way. Humans make things very complicated. I think what we tend to do is we, when I think about my reflection on growing up, because I was a teenager in the 80s, and through the times living life, I've met so many people that won't do a certain thing because the last time that they did that, which was 20 years ago, this is what they experienced. And they're not gonna go there and do that thing because they have cut themselves off. They're not gonna have that experience because, hey, you know what? Last time I did that, this was it. And they define their whole life by it. And for a long time, it's been an accepted way to be. Because I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, it's like, oh no, that person doesn't do that. So we won't ask them or we won't invite them to this because they won't come because this is what they say. And we've made life normal that way. Yeah. So I want to ask this question. Clinical hypnotherapist. And I come to that and I make it a question mark because when my experience of hypnotherapy and clinical has never been, it should be now that I know what I know, but growing up and maybe up until 10 years ago, I always sort of hypnotherapy as psychology, hypnotherapy is something clinical that the the meditative mind space has, they're not connected. Now, that was then and this is now. Because now I feel like if you do hypnotherapy, surely that's about mind again and meditation and mindfulness has something to do with it. Do you think I'm wrong about that? Tell me your part because you're the expert here.
Definitely meditation and hypnosis are intrinsically linked. The difference we could say between meditation and hypnosis is that during meditation, we're aiming to be aware of the experience and aware of the awareness that is experiencing. Where when we're doing hypnotherapy, we tend to just let go, let the conscious mind switch off, and we just allow ourselves to be guided. And during that guide, we tend not to be aware of actually what we're experiencing, but something is happening. And that's usually when we come out of that relaxed state, that relaxed trance. It's like, wow, did I fall asleep? What happened there? Where when I focus on meditation, I'm not trying to dull the mind. I'm trying to get the person to relax and clear their mind, but create an awareness. Where through hypnotherapy, where first of all, I start with as I said, that deep focused conversation where we can start to find and unlock those resources. And that's when it starts to come back into the trance where we start to link those resources that we found back into the person. So I'll get that person into a nice, calm, relaxed state. And by the way, hypnotherapy doesn't require relaxation, but it's just a nice feeling.
Okay. Okay.
So we get them into a nice, relaxed state so they feel good. And then we start to allow them to think about those solutions that were created, that they told me about, that we worked on. And then things happen in the mind, which we call processing. And the processing can happen instantaneously. It can also happen over a few days where the brain starts to untie knots. These knots were like little blocks of thoughts and things that just weren't right. And then it starts to untie these knots, and the rope becomes a bit smooth, and we go, I'm not blocked by that anymore. I don't feel it's a problem. Why? I'm not sure. I I feel better about it. So hopefully that's a little bit of an idea of the difference between hypnotherapy and meditation.
Yes, yes. I think meditation is very much for um, the moment, that, for want of a better word, being now, here, being mindful, bringing yourself into a aligned, balanced space. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like meditation is something you do. You don't do people self-hypnotize? I don't know.
Yes, definitely.
Oh,
And
okay.
and so once again, you can do self-hypnosis, which is very similar to meditation, but
Okay.
that's where I combined hypnosis and meditation techniques. So hypnosis uses um, very good precise language patterns to allow us to get our body from the outside to the inside of the body quickly.
Yes.
And then when we're inside there, then we can use our meditation techniques to really open up that, rather than
Ah,
often people will sit there meditating and they're like, okay, I'm meditating, but I'm uncomfortable. I can hear the birds, I can hear, and that's because the attention's still outside. So by
yes.
bringing that attention inside, we can really start that meditation process.
Wow. Okay. That's really that I never thought about that before. Because, when I've done meditation and if I'm still focusing on things outside or whatever, I've had to do a lot of breathing to get myself completely into the space. I mean, it works, it happens, but it's just, I guess it takes me longer. And
Well,
yeah,
I'd like to show a little technique at the end of this, which will hopefully, through practice, be able to get you into that state very quickly.
great. Thank you for that. Thank you for wanting to share that with us, because I know I love it. And I know that our audience are going to love it too, because it's something that they can take away with and use. And your generosity in doing that for us is really appreciated, because, you're giving something to us that we didn't have before.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing that we need to give people. We need to help them with the tools. If people have the tools and they have the knowledge, they can build something, they can fix things, they can fix themselves because they've got the tool set. Where often just the knowledge by itself, by watching videos and not actually being able to implement it, that's sometimes where we get a little bit stuck. So that's
Yes.
where I like to bring the theory into practice and actually teach you guys what you need to look out for when you're meditating. How do you know when you're meditating?
Mm,
What's going on?
yeah. Yeah. So I want to ask this question. And another question has popped into my head. So sorry if I was slightly distracted. And remind me, I do have to ask you that. Well, if I don't ask you the other question, remind me that I do have to. And this is a big one, this other question. So, what kind of people come to you for help? Well, not help, but for this kind of support, because I don't want to say help. I mean, I think you have to be in a good. I'm not sharing that people come to you because they can't decide for themselves or they don't know how to. What I'm hearing is that it's more about support and empowering people, because I'm hearing that you empower people to live better lives. That's from what we're saying. Although you didn't use the word, I'm using the word empower. So tell us what kind of people come to you then.
Definitely a great word. I like to empower people's minds. So people often come to me because they've recognized within themselves that they do have something that they haven't been able to solve themselves.
Yes.
And often they've been struggling with that for a while. And they've finally got to the stage where they think, I'm ready to let this go. And then hopefully they've been able to find me and we've had a connection online and they feel that I actually have something that I can help them with. We have a little bit of a chat. And then if we feel that we're a good fit together, that's when the magic will happen.
Yes, I really like that. You feel whether you are a good fit together, because not everyone is for everyone, right?
Correct.
Yeah, right. So this brings me to that question I said, remind me to ask you. I I hear that the information that you sent me and whatever you're talking about, you have been doing this work for a long time. And you have evolved yourself through the process, because you started in one place and it's progress and it's got to other things. So when I meet you and I feel your energy and I feel how calm and peaceful you are, I'm really tempted to ask you, what is your galactic purpose? What is your soul's purpose? I know that was left wing and we did not talk about it, but I feel like something is telling me that you work not, you're here on this earth working in the, because we work and we exchange money. That's the form of exchange on the planet and all of that. But you're here on a really big mission. So
I don't know what that mission is, but I do know that I have my whole life I've wanted to share, I've wanted to teach. And I found that any knowledge that I've come across that has helped me, I want to give that to other people and get them that same feeling of knowledge and excitement that I felt. So
yeah.
I just love to share things, and I also like to keep a very open mind. And because as I was young, I was lucky enough for my mum to buy me a magazine collection called The Unexplained.
Okay.
And The Unexplained had everything from poltergeist, spontaneous human combustion, ghosts, UFOs, and it blew my mind as a 12-year-old.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so in my mind, I've always known that reality as we see it in front of us isn't just what's there. And we know that radio waves exist, microwaves exist, but we can't see them, but
That's
they're
right.
there.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer in other energies, other realities. And as for my soul purpose consciously, I don't know. But
Yeah.
subconsciously, I know that it's just doing what it wants to do. And I feel that I'm in a good place and I must be on the right path.
I think so. I think so, because I think sometimes we, soul purpose, and I've been trying to find that out for myself too. And I say that, and I feel like we're just living our soul's purpose. And perhaps that's where the one thing is, like for me, I was seeking it. I was trying to find out, what did I come here to do in this time and space? And you know what? I've come here to do in this time and space exactly what I've been doing in all times and spaces that I've been here on this planet, because I've been here a few times. Well, more than a few, but anyway. So yeah, I think that was just wonderful the way you explained that, because it is being who you are, doing what you're doing is fulfilling your soul's purpose, because nothing is an error, nothing is a mistake, everything is relative and relevant, and everything is exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
It takes a while to come to terms with that reality, because you think about everything else that's negative out there, and you think, well, why should negative things happen? But that also is about awakening. It's about what we came to do here. So yeah. Well, I don't know. It popped into my head that I should ask you, and I did so. And yes, you are aware of the, well, not aware. We're all aware of the galactics, but yeah, your mind was blown by all of that information in the magazine you're telling me about.
Yeah. And it's just kept you on that constant path of searching and
Yeah,
to realize that when we come across something, don't make judgment straight away. Take it in context,
yeah,
take a step back, look what other people are saying, and you may even get something out of it.
that's true. Very important. I was saying to someone earlier, it's important even right now, like we have got a lot of reports coming out. Um, we have a lot of news and information and misinformation and disinformation. And according to Russell Brand, kisinformation, Russell being Russell. He said that as a joke, but it's important to understand that the report that we should really be listening to is the one within, right? You can hear all these things, but what is the higher being, the intuitive self, the gut feeling that you have within you says about this thing that you are faced with or you hear? So it's important. That's what I'm finding. My own report is the report I believe, because that's within me. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Once again, we all see the world through our own eyes, through our own beliefs, our own perceptions. And the idea is to make our own perception fuller and to
Yes.
stop thinking about the good old days, because those good old days were the present time at that time. And we can realize that today we might look back and say it was a good old day, but really it was just every day is a good day if you really put some life into it and just don't go through the motions.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a good point about the good old days, because for one, we're never going back to those days. That's the truth. We have changed, we have moved, we have shifted. Um, and in some of the stuff that we're hearing, and if you think about some of the stuff that's going on, or not going on, depending on where it's coming from, do we really want to go back to the good old days where we were unaware of things we needed to be aware of? Because part of the transformation that the planet is going through and the people are going through and the awakening we're going through is about saying, I'm awakening to things I didn't, I didn't, I wasn't awakened to before. And some of these things are not great, but so that's part of the process. Or do I want to go back to a time where I'm still asleep? Because really that at the end of the day is the question, right? If you want good old days, they were good for where they were. That was in the old days. And now we are good for where we are, which is right now. Very important to embrace the now, right?
Totally, because we we always look, as you said, we look back and we may look forward now and think, oh, now we have all these things that aren't in our best interest. But look at all the things that are in our best interest at the moment, all the extra technologies that are making our lives easier. And once again, that perspective again. So we can focus on all this negativity, or what we can do is we can be aware of it, but it doesn't mean we need to be focused on it. So
Exactly.
when you're aware of something, it just means that you know it's there and you can be mindful of it, but it doesn't mean you have to focus on it
Yeah,
until it impacts you right in front of you. You can let it go.
exactly. I agree with that. I have to say this is my thinking too. We have to learn to let go. It's like letting go of those things that are preventing us from living our best lives. Personally, we're learning to do that, but also learn to let go of things that are not affecting us personally, that are not coming like staring us in the face, and now we have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And also, we have a lot of, now this is me and my my esoteric beliefs coming through here now, where I believe we have a lot of protection. We are very taken care of. Things could have been worse. We could have had worse happenings, but it actually didn't happen because we are taken care of. And as long as we know that and we continue in that vein, we are always going to be okay. There's never going to be a moment of it looks, that anything that's not supposed to come near us is even going to come to us. So
And
go on.
we just got to remember death isn't the end. We are eternal beings. I like to use the term that Farsight Institute used, that we are is-bees. We're here because we is, and we just be for no other reason. And we inhabit different bodies, we inhabit different realities, but in the end, we're a consciousness experiencing.
Yes. Yes, indeed. So now that you say that, it makes me ask this question. Or to say some of what I thought recently about somebody was talking about these parallel universes. So I beg your pardon, parallel lifetimes, that we are in a time of living many lifetimes. We're becoming aware that we have got, is parallel the right word? Timelines, parallel timelines. So we are alive in this space right now here, but we're also functioning on another level and another level and different aspects.
Yep.
In fact, someone went so far recently. I was listening to a podcast where someone went so far to say, imagine yourself, for example, if I do believe, but I'm very into the galactics, let's just say that. So imagine yourself being in every star. There's one of you in every star system, and you're running parallel lifetimes, and the lifetime is going at the same time. And so it kind of makes you think, made me think. So I guess when I die in this lifetime, it means that my soul, this energy soul for this lifetime is left, but it's alive in the others, but we take death. So we take death like it's the end of the world. It's the end of ever. And I guess that again is coming back to programming, because like you were saying, You don't actually die. You're alive. You know, it's just for this time and space. Sorry about the light. I'm just going to move it a little bit. It's not about dying. It's about, we don't die, you know.
Yep. And we can look at this through, obviously we don't know, but if we look back in history at the three major religions, they all say something of a concept of a soul or something that's everlasting after death.
Yes.
They all have different names because they have different languages and different time periods. But in the end, they were talking about something that exists after the human body isn't working anymore.
Yeah. Yes. So what is the three main, did you say three main religions, right?
Yeah, so we have Christianity, Hinduism, and Islam.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Good. I just wanted you to name them because I know Christianity talks about it as eternal life. And Hinduism speaks about the reincarnation.
Yeah.
And I don't know about Islam, what it calls it, what they call it in that. But yeah, that's my knowledge of it.
Yeah, so differently, as you can see, it's the same concept, yet interpreted differently.
Definitely.
That something exists after the exit, or sorry, when the body dies, something exit and continues.
Yes, that's right. So, you know, and you're right, we all have, the religions have a different interpretation of it. Because, you know, I was a Christian for many years, but I didn't think about reincarnating into another being again. It was just like you died and you had eternal life because you chose Jesus as your personal savior, and
Yeah.
then that meant that you had the gateway to heaven and that you could be with the angels singing in the courts of God in heaven, and that's one concept. But and so being a Christian and doing all that is required of you as a Christian means that you get passage to that gateway, you know, and you carry on living there. So your soul never dies, but the soul actually never dies, you know.
No.
But it goes out and has other experiences. So Aaron, it's been great talking to you. Tell us firstly where you can be contacted if
So I have a
somebody
few.
wanted to be in touch. Sorry, for the purpose of our audience, if you wanted to get in touch with Aaron and experience some of his work, and you thought you needed what he was offering, then Aaron's going to give you information. Aaron, before you tell us that, something's just popped into my head. I meant to ask you this. Sorry, I do this all the time. The hypnotherapy, I know we talked about the hypnotherapy and the mind space, etc. Does it work for healing the body? Like if you've got ailments in your body, sickness in your body, do you do that kind of work through what you offer?
Yes, everything is created by the subconscious mind.
Okay.
So if we've had something that isn't healing and it's been a consistent injury for a while, often that can be just like that belief that we had. It's a
Okay.
block within the body and totally can be helped.
Okay, great. Yeah, it had come through in my head and I just forgot to ask it then. So please tell us where you can be contacted.
So it's probably the easiest place to find me is just to go to my website called nostressnow.com.
Great. That's easy. NoStressNow.com. Great. All right, Aaron. So time for us to go to that space where you were offering to do something with us before we say goodbye to you. But
Sure.
before we do that, anything else you wanted to tell us that I didn't ask you?
No, just thank you very much for your time and allowing me to share my story and how and just my passion to help other people because that's why I'm here. I started off this journey learning about myself, and then I realized that not only could I help myself, but it can help so many other people.
Great. That's awesome. Thank you very much for being with us. So, you know, for agreeing to come on. And I will say it now. Please feel free to come back. And
Love
we
to.
just get in touch, talk with me, anything you think that you want to get out, a message you want to get out to everybody, because it's always about empowering people and guiding them through processes, fulfilling your purpose, as also ensuring the empowerment of other people. Please contact me because I'm happy to have you back. Very happy to have you back. So
Thank you.
you go for it, whatever it is that you were going to do with us. So excited.
Okay. So you're going to participate here too, Rose. So
Oh, right. Okay.
are you in a comfortable position?
I'm in a comfortable position. I'm going to put my chair a little bit lower. It feels
Yeah,
weird, right? Because I want to touch the ground. So sorry, I'm not going to touch
that's
anything on the computer. I'm just going to do that. Okay. Yeah.
that's perfect.
Okay.
So in a nice comfortable position, just put your hands on your lap or by the side. And I encourage everybody to join in here. So just start to notice the chair underneath you. Just notice it on your back, feeling it underneath. Don't close your eyes yet. Just keep those eyes open. But before we want to start, let's take a nice, slow, smooth breath in. That's it. And then as you exhale, just notice that you can allow the shoulders to relax just a little bit. Breathing in and out. Good. So now I just want you to allow your eyes to close. That's it. So now that your eyes are closed, I want you to focus on all of the muscles around your eyes and just allow them to turn off like you're closing them all over again. And just this state here is a reference point that you're more relaxed than you were earlier. And next, we're going to relax the body. And we're simply going to get you to become aware of the muscles around your head and the scalp. And then just allow them to switch off, willing them to switch off. And if you will them to switch off, they will switch off. And allowing that relaxation to flow down into the shoulders. Good. And now I want you to pay all of your attention to one of your hands. Just place all of your attention on your hand right now. And just notice what that hand is doing. Are there any sensations? Is it heavy? Is it light? Doesn't matter what it's doing. You notice that it's doing something. And now I want you to come all the way back into a place of peace. I want you to focus on a gorgeous landscape, something that makes you feel peaceful and safe. It may be a waterfall, it may be a beach, it may be something that I haven't even mentioned, but you can see it and it just calms your mind. So now you've achieved mental relaxation. And we can go even deeper, starting to notice now how your breath has slowed down, how the heart has slowed down, how your eyelids are feeling heavy and relaxed. Just paying attention to these sensations that let you know that you've traveled to another state of awareness. But we're not finished yet. We can even go to a place deeper than this, a place even more peaceful and relaxed. And all I'm going to do is count from 10 to 1. And when I reach the number 1, you'll be in a deep state of focused relaxation, clarity of mind, relaxed body. 10, 9, deeper and deeper. 8, 7, just letting go a little bit more. 5, 4, that's it. 3, deeper and deeper, becoming more focused. 2 and 1. And you're now at a deep state of mind, a healthier state of mind, where you can really tap in to your wisdom, to gain solutions, and to find answers to any problem you have. But right now, I want you to just think of one word, and that's going to be let go. And I want you to take a nice, smooth, deep breath in. And as you exhale, say, let go in your mind. Let go. And imagine, what does it mean to let go? And letting go more and more with each breath. Allowing the focus to increase. Allowing you to notice how calm, relaxed, and clear you are. And in a moment, I'm going to bring you back. But not yet. First of all, I just want you to go deeper. And I want you to discover something inside that's been waiting to come out. Some information, some knowledge, some wisdom. And it's just there, floating up. And I'm going to be silent for 20 seconds. And you can just allow something to happen as you let go. And now it's time to come back. And I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And with each increasing number, you can feel more aware, awake, and fantastic, knowing that you've made some real unconscious changes here. You may not know them consciously, but something has changed here. 1, slowly coming back into the room. 2, resuming normal breathing. 3, move the fingers. And 4, almost here. And 5, coming all the way back. Open your eyes. How are you, Rose?
I'm good. Well, that was nice. That was amazing.
How do you
Thank you.
feel?
I feel really good. I feel really good. More of that, please. Wow.
I think we might need to come back next time, and I could actually go a little bit more in depth on how to teach this to people.
Yeah.
Because once we've learned how to get to this space, this is like the space for learning, the space for
Yes.
change.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes. Please feel free. We can set that up for another time when it's going to work. And if you're happy, I'm happy to have you back on here.
It'd be fantastic, Rose.
I've shifted. Something's happened. Even I can feel that, within myself. I've just like shifted. Like I feel like light bulbs have gone on or something. Yes. I can still see the places I was in and the last bit about
Definitely. It's
before
just
we recover.
amazing what our
Mm,
brain, our own quantum computer, that not
yeah.
only can do mathematics, but it can tap into alternate realities and just anything that we can believe.
Mm. We are such powerful, amazing beings. And yeah, it's nice though. The journey to self is nice because it means all of us can exercise our gifts like you are exercising. Not just a gift, but everything that you've been passionate about and fulfilling the plans and purposes for yourself and for humanity.
Just about learning something, trying it out, and if it works, share it.
Yeah. Feels very quiet in my head right now.
Fantastic.
Oh, wow. Great. So, Aaron, tell us one more time before you go how you can be contacted.
Sorry, I've just got a phone call.
It's okay.
Sorry about that. So
That's
I
okay.
can be
That's okay.
contacted at nostressnow.com. And I'll also give you a link to my pro page, which is just like a page that has a link tree type of thing with all of my links, all of my bio. And you can also find that from nostressnow.com.
Great. That's good. So send me whatever you think I should have, and I will put it in the description box so that our audience can get in touch with you, because I do that for everybody that comes and
Sure.
talk to me on YouTube. So I do, do appreciate that. So Aaron, thank you again. Thank you so much. This that you've given to us is so empowering, and there is it's just so invaluable, you know. And invaluable, I mean, is that I cannot add value. I cannot attach a value to it because it's infinite. So I don't know what your perception of that word means, but for me, that's what I mean. And
Yeah, and thank you just for allowing me to share it.
I really appreciate you, and I thank you so much. You're very welcome. And as we just said, we're going to be doing something again. And we'll talk more about that as the week progresses. Have a think about when, and we can set it up.
Fantastic. I look forward to it.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Well, everyone, I hope that you have got something empowering and wonderful out of this amazing chat that I've had with Aaron Ellis. You know where to contact him, nostress.com. I said that right.
nostressnow.com.
nostressnow.com. Great. Now we won't forget it. Yes. So I'll catch you next time, everyone, on The Great Awakening Generator. Thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Rose McNair. Keep reaching for the stars. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Fantastic.